are live from KUVO's Bonfils Staten Performance Studio at the Buell Public Media Center. Thank you all for tuning in, and we have such a special guest here. We have the Domi Edson Trio, led by Domi Edson on the bass, Spencer Zweifel on piano, and Bobby Wiens on the drums. Welcome, y'all.
Thanks so much for having us.
Of course. I'm so excited for this. You just came back from a tour. How are y'all feeling?
Feeling pretty good.
Yeah?
Had time to rest and recuperate, but it was super fun. We got to go to a lot of places that I've never been before.
All right, on. Are we a stop on the tour then, technically?
Not quite.
Not quite, but hey, we have a really special performance for tonight. It is your latest release, A Jazzy Hanukkah, that came out on November 24th, so just around the bend. You must be so excited to have this out. It connects to your own identity. Can you just give us a brief little about what the album's about?
Yeah, so, growing up, still I'm Jewish, but growing up Jewish, we always had, just like with Christmas, our favorite albums that we'd listen to during the holiday season. Mm-hmm. But I never found an instrumental jazz version or one that really highlighted some of the lesser known, more traditional songs. And going to Jewish school, I was singing all these songs, and I just always kind of wanted that jazzy version. And after a decade or so, it's like, well, I still haven't found exactly what I'm looking for, and so I might as well just do it myself, and then I can express these songs how I want to hear them.
Hey, there it is. I mean, I've been hearing bits and pieces, but I'm so excited for us all to hear it front to back here. This is the full record, right?
Yes.
The full album. You're in for a treat. So A Jazzy Hanukkah, where you have a lot of great music. We're going to dig into what some of the stories are behind it and kind of talk about what you've been up to, all the same. Let's start with the first track. So how does it kick off?
So we're going to open up with a song called Mi Yimalel, which kind of loosely translates to Who Can Retell. And it's just talking about every age having a hero, specifically Judah Maccabee, who's sort of one of the heroes of the Hanukkah story, being grateful for the heroes and looking forward to the next one.
I love that. Well, here's a Domi Edson Trio on KUVO Jazz.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
KUVO Jazz. My name's Abby Clark, and I'm here with the Domi Edson Trio in the Bonfils studio. Oh my gosh, I love the Latin twist on that. That was so fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, oh my God. It must be so fun to play and connect with your music in new and different ways. What was that track called?
So that was Sevinon Sov Sov Sov, which translates to dreidel, spin, spin, spin. And it's kind of like the other dreidel song.
Okay, like the dreidel. It's a different one?
Different one.
Okay.
It's still about dreidels and spinning.
That's awesome. So yeah, how did you decide to blend it with the Latin feel? Like, what was the writing process like around this whole album?
Yeah, so with all the songs, I kind of started by just singing them and trying to keep the melodies as intact as possible or the vibe. And this one's always been sort of a fun song, and you sing it at the same speed that this one is, and kind of sang it and tried to imagine like some swing drums. Like, no, that's not right. Okay, what about some Latin drums? Ooh, okay, I can see something going there. And then I started hearing the bass line, and I can do the hits there with the melody. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, this one's just short and sweet, which I thought would lend itself well to Latin jazz. And the lyrics are actually kind of funny, or at least I think. So they go, Sevinon Sov Sov Sov, dreidel, spin, spin, spin. Hanukkah, Chag Tov, Hanukkah, what a great holiday. Hanukkah, Chag Tov, Hanukkah, what a great holiday. Sevinon Sov Sov Sov, dreidel, spin, spin, spin. Chag Simcha Hula. It's like a holiday of happiness for all the people. Nes Gadol Hayasham. And Nes Gadol Hayasham means a great miracle happened there. And the 4 letters for that phrase are the 4 letters on the dreidel. So once again, it's the dreidel song. Nes Gadol Hayasham. A great miracle happened there. Chag Simcha Hula. A great holiday for all the people. So just talking about dreidels, and it's a fun holiday, and thought what a fun song or fun lyrics. I should write sort of a fun groove for it.
Yeah, I could not stop bopping over here. It was so swinging. You guys are so awesome. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this album so far, and it's kind of my first exposure to a lot of these traditional, Hanukkah tunes. Is that something like that you run into when I guess this is created because there aren't any jazz renditions, right? Was that kind of the thinking behind making the straight ahead feel for it?
Yeah, I mean, other jazz Hanukkah music exists, but it's hard to find, and it's really hard to find of some of the, like, not the big 3 or the 3 most common ones. And so, especially like since I know some of the less like mainstream ones, and some of them are really beautiful songs like Me Yimalel. I don't think I've found another jazz version of that, but it's a great song, and I want to find a way both for Jewish listeners and non-Jewish listeners to just like teach you about more songs from Hanukkah outside of just I had a little dreidel and Oh Hanukkah and maybe Maoz Tzur, although we will do some of those as well. Yeah,
well, it's nice to have the blend, and it's got to be amazing to connect with your culture in this way. And let's move to the next one. It's called Nearly.
Yes.
All right. So what is this track about?
So Nearly means either like my candle or my little candle, and lighting candles is a big part of Hanukkah. It's tied into the story, and it's an iconic tradition. And so this is just talking about like I have a little candle, it's so bright, and the joy of celebrating the tradition of lighting the menorah.
A lot of the feeling of these tracks, it's so cozy. Like it feels like that family with your people kind of vibe, So I'm very excited. You're tuned to KUVO Jazz. We're in the Bonfils Performance Studio listening to the Domi Edson Trio play their latest album, A Jazzy Hanukkah. Here is Nearly.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The Domi Edson Trio live here at KUVO's Bonfils and Performance Studio. Domi Edson on bass, leading the band with Spencer Zweifel on piano and Bobby Wiens on drums. Thank you all for being here. This is so awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, and thank you, KUVO community, for tuning in here to this wonderful performance of A Jazzy Hanukkah, released on November 24th, and we're hearing it here front to back. We just heard all Hanissim here on KUVO Jazz. And this is more of a traditional song that speaks to the story, right, of Hanukkah?
Yeah, so Al Hanissim kind of translates to like all of the miracles or in honor of the miracles. And it's kind of focusing on the two main miracles of Hanukkah. The first being, story of Hanukkah, super quick version. The Jewish people in Israel were invaded by a leg of the Hellenist Empire, which was run by the Greeks. And they took over the temple, they took over the land, and made it illegal to be Jewish or to practice Judaism. And so the Jewish people for years had to hide their faith and kind of try to assimilate to avoid persecution, but still retain their identity. And the first miracle is that this small group, kind of guerrilla warfare style, run by the hero of the story, Judah Maccabee, were actually able to kick out this huge empire, the Greek Empire, from the land, retake their temple. But the second miracle of Hanukkah is that when they finally retook their temple, in all synagogues there's a light above the ark that holds the Torahs or the Bible, and it's just always supposed to be lit. It's kind of representative that God is there and that it's a holy space. Well, the Greeks didn't think to keep it going, obviously, and back in the day it was kept alive with oil, and they searched the whole temple and there was only enough olive oil to light it for one day, and it would take 8 days to produce more. So the miracle of Hanukkah is that that small amount of oil actually lasted the whole 8 days until they were able to make a new batch to keep that light going. So that's why so many of the traditional Hanukkah foods are very oily, and why there's this focus on light. So two miracles, and so this is just a song that sort of celebrates them and honors them. So I wanted to really make it a banger, like a really fun, uplifting song.
It really was. I love how it was swinging and then it kind of got quiet and then brought back up. It was a really, really wonderful rendition. And this is what you've been working on now, this Jazzy Hanukkah, bringing a jazz feel to all these songs that you grew up hearing, these stories that you grew up hearing. And not only that, but you're also really busy as an educator as well. You just finished off the CCGA Shebop Young Women in Jazz Workshop, correct?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was super fun. It's pretty rare in jazz that you'll have a room of all women, sadly, but as time goes on, it's getting better and better, and one of the best things that you can do is support that next generation of young women in jazz. So it's just an excellent one-day workshop run and founded by Annie Booth. I was very fortunate to be part of the faculty and just get to work with all these young musicians and inspire them and give them that safe space that you kind of have to manufacture.
Wow. And you just got back from your tour now for this album, and we'll, after a few short songs, talk about what's next here as far as events for the Domi Edson Trio. Next, we're going to hear a track, and what is it called?
It's called Lich'Vod Hachanukkah, but it's more commonly known as Yodim Atem.
Yodim Atem. Well, here it is. This is KUVO Jazz with the Domi Edson Trio, live from the Bonfils and Performance Studios. The Domi Edson Trio live on KUVO. We're in the Bonfils Performance Studio here at the Buell Public Media Center. My name's Abby Clark, and I'm joined by Domi Edson on bass, Spencer Zweifel on piano, and Bobby Wiens on drums. Man, the groove on that one. I loved that track. What's it called?
That one's called Banu, Choschech, Legaresh, which translates to like, we will banish or fight darkness collectively.
There was a power in that one. I really, really dug it. And there's, so much versatility in this album. You're going to be live soon, right? You have another performance, an event coming up?
Yes, we do. We're doing only one live and in-person show this year, our album release party at the Muse Performance Space on Sunday, December 10th at 7 p.m., also known as the fourth night of Hanukkah. It should be super fun. We're going to play the whole album. I'll kind of talk about things we've been talking about, what the songs are about, my motivation for this album. And to spice it up a little bit, it is a BYO menorah / Hanukkah. If you're interested, it's not required, but the Muse has graciously granted us permission to put tinfoil on tables, and we'll be lighting the candles right before the show. So if you have one, you're welcome to bring it and join in with us. So should be a really fun show. I'm excited.
Oh, I love that. I bet the energy is going to be so fun. How exciting. Man, this project is out. What does it feel like? I mean, it must feel amazing.
It really does. It's something I've wanted for a long time, since before I was musically ready to kind of take on the project, and then kind of working. We did this last year. We actually did a show at the Muse last year, and it went so well. I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to actually record this and come out with it next year and have it be like an actual album, not just a show I had an idea for. So it's more than my other projects. It feels like it's just been a long time coming, and been very excited about it. I'm just so excited it's out.
How long have you had this concept?
It's something I've wanted since I was probably in like middle school, and then getting into college, or especially like school bands, that you come up to the holiday concert and it's a whole bunch of Christmas music, sleigh ride, or the nutcracker, and they're like, it's not Christmas, it's holiday. And then if you're lucky, you might get to play I Have a Little Dreidel, and it's always just like, there's gotta be some like charts out there, some arrangement that we could play, or like a Hanukkah, like one of these other Hanukkah songs that are lesser known, but like would lend themselves so well to jazz, like I can hear it. So just the longer it hasn't been there, the longer I've wanted it to be.
Well, it's such an amazing project. I've really enjoyed listening to it and watching you play. And thank you to the KUVO community for tuning in. And we have a few more tracks. Let's start with the next one, Maoz Tzur. And can you tell me a little bit about this one?
Yeah, so this one is probably, I think, the oldest. It was written somewhere around the 12th or 13th century. Yeah, quite a long time ago, and Maoz Tzur translates to Rock of Ages, and more so than the other songs, this is the style of the Hebrew is very old-timey, kind of like as if it was Old English but Hebrew, and it's a dedication. The Rock of Ages is God, and it's sort of a thank you for all that God has done, being the rock for the Jewish people in times of need. And so in arranging this has always been one of my favorite melodies, and since it's such beautiful lyrics and they're so like poetic, I thought, this one needs to be slower than it's normally saying. It needs to be this really beautiful, lush ballad that would fit the lyrics. So this is Maoz Tzur. 2, 3, 4.
You're listening to KUVO Jazz. We're live from the Bonfils Staten Performance Studio here at the Buell Public Media Center. My name's Abby Clark, joined by the Domi Edson Trio. Domi Edson on bass, Spencer Zweifel on piano, and Bobby Wiens on drums. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're playing cuts off of your latest album, A Jazzy Hanukkah. And I want to give a special thanks to the Bonfils Staten Foundation, Drum City Guitar Land in Wheat Ridge, owned and operated and staffed by working musicians since 1965. Schmidt Music in Englewood, specializing in pianos, keyboards, band and orchestral instruments, sheet music, and more. Grace Design Pro Audio in Lyons, Colorado, and donors to the Carlos Lando Musician and Event Fund. KUVO Studio Club members and Beat Collective members, thank you. And today's broadcast was engineered by Klaus Larson and assistant audio engineer Rain Caseman. Special thanks to Creative Services support by Mark Bontour Larson and Alec Kennefic. Thank you guys so much. This has been so beautiful. Thank you for sharing all the stories of your heritage and the story behind this album. It's amazing. I've been having such a great time. Thank you so much, Domi, Spencer, and Bobby.
Thank you.
And we're taking it out with one last track.
Yeah, so this last track is Yimei Hachanukah, but you might know the English version, O Hanukkah. Kind of a fun thing about this, the English version, O Hanukkah, is a list of, all the things you do on Hanukkah. There's also a Yiddish version, and then this is the Hebrew version. And all of the lyrics, they always rhyme, and they're not direct translations of each other, which is why they rhyme. But they're still all generally about the same thing, just all the things you do on Hanukkah. Yimei Hachanukah translates to the days of Hanukkah. We're going to finish it out on a high note. This should be a fun one.
Thanks, guys. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Wow, y'all are fabulous. Thank you for letting me host that.